what we learned today is if you make a plan and first fix a kitchen around that plan and then you go and alter things on that plan, it has a knock-on effect and causes all kinds of aggro, which invariably when you come to this stage of fitting it, you have to address, and it bogs you down in terms of time. If you don't address it, they're just going to get you later on down the line. Hello everyone, welcome to the video. So in this video what I'm going to do is I've started a little bit. I've got second fixing here on this bungalow I've been working on. This is a bungalow. I didn't show the roof because it's a truss roof, not particularly interesting. I did do some work on the gable end on the cladding, and actually I'll quickly show you that. That's all done, look. So this is the back side. That's all neat and tidy. I think, as I've said many times in some other videos, I like to mathematically work out the coursing from the bottom right up to the top, so that this course here, you get a course that runs all the way through at lintel level rather than having a sort of cut course. It's the way I like to do it. Not everybody does it that way, but yeah, this is that gable end that I did, and I did a little video on that, so if you watched that, thank you very much. But anyway, let's go back inside and I'll talk you through what I'm doing in here. This is what we're going to be doing here. There, look, is the kitchen in here. So I made a bit of a start on the doors. The problem we've got here tends to happen a lot with these builders is this was built during the wettest period in UK weather history, and it's very damp in here. There's no electric, and it's still very, very damp. So I hung these doors sort of against my better judgment, but they've had one coat of Osmo oil on them to try and protect them from the moisture. But that first coat was put on a week ago, and it's still slightly tacky. So it gives you an idea of sort of. But anyway, I've had this discussion with the builders. They want me to crack on. That's down to them. So yeah, the whole bungalow's got to be done. I may do some videos. I don't know. I've done skirting and architecture videos before, but it's quite a nice sized bungalow. I've got sliding wardrobe doors in here, sliding wardrobe doors which I framed out for in here, and also sliding wardrobe doors which I framed out for in here. So I probably will do some videos on those because they're quite interesting. Airing cupboard in here, nothing special. You know, it's all fairly standard stuff. But yeah, here's the main sort of the room that I'm going to be working on for the next maybe week or two. It's quite a lot of work in this kitchen. It's a big sort of day room with a kitchen up this end. And as you can see here, look, all the kitchen units have been sort of dropped in by parachute by the look of it. Look, they've kind of just landed where they've landed. But anyway, my job is going to be making a start on getting these set in. I'll come to show you over here what we're kind of aiming for. Here's the plan. So it's relatively simple stuff. You know, we've got a run across the back here, then down the end, and a nice centre unit here. And here's the pretty picture that we get sent. So yeah, there's a lot to do in these ones. You can't quite see it here, but it's got this plinth skirting detail, which I've done a few now, and it takes an unfathomably long time to get the joints like really nice. On a darker colour kitchen, you know, you can hide a little bit more in the joints, but on sort of lighter kitchens, which like this one is, you've got to be really on your top game, and you know, you spend a lot of time on your knees. But anyway, what I'm waiting for, the reason I can't start is because, as usual, when we were first fixing it all, putting the stud work in and all the electrics and plumbing, it was one plan, and then I think the builders revised it, changed his mind and changed it. So basically this rising main is coming up in the wrong place, so that's got to be put into a 90 degree, go underneath the cupboard, and then clipped around the back of the rest of them. The issue we've got here is now it turns out, you can see the plumber scribbled DW on the wall. I don't think that's because his name's David Wilson. I think it's because it's dishwasher. So as anybody that fits integrated dishwashers know, you can't have any pipe work behind them. Maybe you can if you go real low level, but generally we don't. So there's got excuse me, I've got the remnants of a cold. The sink is now going here, so it means we've got to get a waste pipe along there, which basically means that can't go behind the dishwasher. So what I'm invariably going to do is pack, there's enough, looking at the plan, I'll just show you the plan again. On the plan, if I orientate it correctly, you can see here that there's a 50mm filler panel on the end there. So basically what I'm going to do is move this entire run over probably a bit less than 50mm, but I've checked that wall. As you can see, look, evidence of me checking it, the level is there from me checking it yesterday, and that's quite upright. Again, our plasterboarders, our dot and dabbers here are absolutely, they're top notch, so they've got that wall upright, so we should be able to squeeze pretty much down to a shadow gap there. So that's all I've got to do. They're not particularly difficult. Obviously these are having stone worktops, so they'll just be templated that extra 50mm wide. So yeah, I'm really just waiting for the plumber to come. He's going to make those connections for me, put that bit of waste pipe in, and then I can crack on. What I'm thinking about, so I know I'm waffling on, but I'm sort of trying to introduce the video. Things I need to think about. So working out from this corner, what we really need to think about, especially because we've got like a L-shaped corner unit, so there's no adjustment for that in terms of if the walls are upright. So that's what you really need to be thinking about here, is no good setting your base units in to the exact measurements it says for your like a corner post. If then the walls are out of upright, your wall units won't mirror, which may not be a problem, but will be a problem if, like we have here, you've got a tall run of units. So what I'm basically saying is, if you set your base units in here, and then this wall here leans outwards, basically as you come to put this unit in, it'll be too far that way, which will push all these units, which will make these tall units be too far that way, which will then give you a gap at the bottom. So it's a kind of thing you've got to really keep your eye on. Certainly when you start, I like to start from a corner. You need to make sure that the walls are upright, and if they're not, you need to make sure that you make accommodations so that basically your base units line up with your wall units, or tall units in this case. So I'm going to wait for the plumber, and then once he's done, we can make a start. So unbelievably, it's now just gone 12 o'clock. I got here at just about 7:30, so it's taken all this time to get this bit of pipe work in here, but there's been a little bit of head scratching because the builder's gone away from the original plan, and I think moved the sink to this run, which means we've got to get a waste pipe across the back of it, and anyone that fits kitchens will know you can't put any kind of pipes behind integrated dishwashers, which are going here. So we've had to mess about with that. The rising main is going to have to be moved. Obviously this is all below 150mm, so it fits up underneath this unit that's going here. So fingers crossed here. There's an integrated dishwasher going here. I know I've said it many times, but that sits up on like a 45mm platform, and there's a slight wasted section at the back of it. So hopefully that 22mm feed to the cold water feed to the sink and the waste will fit in that little void. So what we can now do, this is that first unit I've got into position. As I said, the pipes come up in that. Is I can now start putting some of these other units in. So finally we can get going. So there you see a bit of time lapse there, just sort of got them all into position. What I've also done is I've had a quick conversation with the kitchen supplier, and they've sent me out the integrated dishwasher and the integrated fridge freezer. A couple of reasons for that. as I explained, I know I keep going on about this, still concerning me about these pipes that run across the back of the dishwasher. Also, because, I'll just quickly say, because this has got a skirting plinth on it, the underside of the unit has got to be exactly 150 millimeters from the floor finish, because you'll see later on either in this video or future videos when I come to do it, the skirting plinth, there's no adjustment on it. You can scribe a bit off it, but obviously it can't be sat off the floor. So we've got to get this absolutely spot on. So as I said, if you can see here, this is the integrated dishwasher, and there is a little wasted section just at the bottom of it there. So what I'm hoping is, I just set my level up, is I'm hoping that the measurement between here and the top here comes above, obviously, this unit, which is where the worktop is, obviously, and the top of that pipe. If that is the case, we've got over that problem. If we still need to steal a little bit, there was supposed to be a 50mm filler panel at the end where the fridge freezer is, but the issue we've got is that can limit the fridge freezer door opening past 90 degrees, which is fine, it still opens, but sometimes you can struggle to get like cooler drawers out of them. So I've made it basically, I've moved it sort of 30mm this way, so there'll be a, 20mm this way, so there'll be a 30mm filler there, and we've still got 20mm to play with here, should we need it. It may be that I can push that all the way back and put that back to a 50mm filler, but we've got options. So, yeah, the problem is here is that when it was all done, as I said, it was put into one plan, the plan's been changed, and then when you change your plans, and stuff's been first fixed in like electrics and plumbing, it makes it very, very difficult. So, well, not very difficult, but there's problems to get over. So what I'm going to do now, start levelling these in, and then we'll come and have a look when I've done a bit of that. Right, so I've set my laser up, and what I've had to do here, as I said earlier, because there's no sort of adjustment on this plinth, it's got to be exact, and it's exactly 150mm, and it goes from the underside of the unit down to the floor. I've had to find the lowest part of the floor, which is sort of over here. Unfortunately, although it's a new floor, it is up and down by sort of 10mm. So found the lowest part of the floor. There's a vinyl herringbone plank going down here, which is 6mm. So basically 6mm plus 150mm for the plinth plus 720mm for the carcass brings us up to 876. I think you can just see that there. So again, that allows 156 millimeters from the underside of the unit down to the floor. So that's the height I've set the laser. So now I can wind all of these units up to that laser line. I know they'll be in the right place. Then, as I said earlier, what we can do is then just check that measurement from the laser line down to the top of that pipe, and hopefully, in fact, let's do it now. We can do it. Let's go live. We've got it. In fact, we've got a pipe clip there. We can get rid of that. I did ask the farmer to put that the other way up. There we go. Pipe clip there. What we got there, look. So we've got just under 770mm there. So here we go. Moment of truth. Let's have a look. Lift that down onto there, which is where that scooped out section starts. 720, look. Never any doubt. We've got loads. That's brilliant. So that's good. So we know that, well, I know I'm backwards and forwards. We now know that that waste pipe that sticks out, I mean, I said we've got an extra 20mm if we want to, but let's see, 50mm. So if we have a look here, what we've got width-wise, look at that, 55mm as well. So that's quite good. Obviously we've got this feed pipe sticking out here, but I think again, because we've got sort of 50mm more than we need, I think that feed pipe, that drain pipe there will come out above that copper. So happy days, it's going to fit. So what I'll probably do now is just mooch. I probably will maybe leave a 10mm gap there actually, just to give myself a little bit extra, and then just put a 40mm filler over there, which I'm sure will allow this door of this fridge freezer to open back enough so that the salad drawers can be pulled out. I just wanted to quickly show you what I was talking about earlier about setting out this corner and how if the walls are out of upright you can get yourself into trouble. So here, so for instance, we're looking for a 60mm spacer, a pack, a corner post I should say here, and obviously a 60mm corner post here. Now you can do your mathematics, add it all up, and in this instance what we're looking for from the wall to the outside of this carcass is 1070, so 1m70mm. So what you could just do is you could measure off this wall 1m70mm, don't think anything of it. But what you've got to remember is the wall run units will obviously add up to that same amount. So if the wall is leaning out on this side, obviously when you put your wall units up, they're going to come past. I put a line up here, you can see. I put a line up here, the wall units could come past and then you could end up getting in all kinds of problems as you get further down. So what I've done here, and it's only for illustration because these walls, that's a stud wall I put in and the Dot and Dabbers put that plasterboard up and it's absolutely spot on. But what I've basically done, the top of these are quite tall, you see here. So basically I've measured up, there's a mark there, you can just see that. That would be the top of the wall unit. So what I've basically done is I've measured on this run here, my measurement as we said was 1070 from the wall to the end of the carcass. I've measured 1070 up there, across here, plumbed it down and pulled the carcass to that. Now as I said, I'll just show you here. It just so goes, it doesn't always go like this. But obviously that wall is upright, look, and you can see that's bang on the 1070 mark. Now I've done exactly the same on this one. It should be 620 millimeters from the wall, which is 560 to the face of the carcass. To the face of the carcass is 560, and then we want a 60mm corner post. I've added another 10mm on here, as I said, because I just want to pull it off that wall a bit to help us with that. So that's 630. So again, I'll measure from this wall to here, put a mark at 630. Plumb that down and I'll make sure I line this unit up with it. And again, just to show you, in this instance, obviously we know the wall's pretty good. I mean, actually, if you actually see, look, still maybe a millimetre. I know you might think, oh, it's madness chasing millimetres, but you know, that is maybe a mil or two. So it doesn't look like much, but you know, you try squeezing an 18mm end panel into a 16mm gap, it's very, very difficult. So again, it's just one of those things, if you don't start in the corner properly, you can get into all kinds of trouble. So let's carry on leveling up. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking, but they're just small tips really. You know, kind of the whole point of me doing these videos, even though I've done kitchen videos before, is if you watch them, you're learning, or there's always stuff to be learned. I'm sure seasoned carpet fitters, kitchen fitters will know this, and you know, I'm trying to teach an old duck to suck eggs. Is that right? That's not right, is it? But anyway, you know, someone could be watching this who's not done kitchens before, or maybe fallen foul of this kind of thing, and they're just little tips that hopefully can help. So let's get on. That's the end of day one. What have we learned today? What we learned today is if you make a plan and first fix a kitchen around that plan, and then you go and alter things on that plan, it has a knock-on effect and causes all kinds of aggro, which invariably, when you come to this stage of fitting it, you have to address, and it bogs you down in terms of time. If you don't address it, they're just going to get you later on down the line. So what have we achieved? A fairly dismal amount, if I'm honest. I would have liked to produce much more than this, but you know, some days it's like that. All of the units are stood in. What have we got? We got a couple of legs missing for that unit, which I'll get for tomorrow. Everything's where it should be. The cavity spaces are in the right place. Everything's leveled in now. Centre island is in the right place. We did lots of work when we were setting out. There's got one of these sort of hurricane extractor things, I don't know, but there's basically two sort of outlets here. There's a whopping great big fan unit in the ceiling or something, and it extracts out the gable end. Obviously 3 downlighters, and I don't know if I can stand back enough, but that was really important that they were exactly over this island unit. So that works out perfectly. And again, there was critical measurements in terms of how they're lined up here. As you can see, they're slightly offset, but you've got to remember this has got a 300mm overhang on it. It's like a breakfast bar area there. So the extractor's slightly off centre to the hob, which is not a problem. The lights will be more or less down the centre when it's all done. So yeah, that's me for today. Start working tomorrow, get these units all screwed together, work on that corner post, get these attached. I said it in previous videos, I normally sort of bond them to the wall, but I know this is a stud wall with fixings all the way along there, so I'll utilise those fixings. Still going to continue and hold this run of units 10mm off the wall just to help us with this issue down here. So yeah, get those done in the morning. I've got the integrated fridge freezer here, although I've now allowed back over on that corner, like I said, I've actually ended up with a 40mm filler here. I'm sure that'll be enough to accommodate the integrated fridge freezer door opening out enough so that, I mean, it'll definitely open out enough to use, but hopefully open out enough to get these any drawers that are in there out. So yeah, overall, not bad. Get all these screwed up, should be fairly quick in the morning, and then we can start putting some of the wall units in. There's some end panels to go in, end panel to go in here. As you'll see, this makeup, there's an end panel to go in the wall here, and then this middle set of wall units sit at a higher level, so there's sort of an up and over, because obviously there's a sink going in there. So we can get all those in, and then pretty much that is sort of at the point that I can get we can book the templaters in, the guys to come in to template for the stone worktops, and they can come and do that, and then I think 2 weeks after that they come and fit those, and by that time sort of all the other bits and bobs are done. So if kitchens are generally sort of 2 phases, you have a first fix phase and a second fix phase. So that's the end of day 1 and video 1. I think what I'm going to do is basically, we'll see how we go. Each day I work on this kitchen, I'll make a separate video. So as I said, that's the end of this video. I know I've talked a lot. I hope that you found it vaguely interesting. There may have been a few tips that you may have picked up on. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.